All right, welcome, good people. You know, we always do a little minimal talking here in the beginning just to make sure the stream is going. So if you guys are hearing this on the replay, you will probably hear me introduce the stream once again now that I see it is working. So let's just say it again from the top. Welcome, guys, to the latest episode of the Sim Standard Podcast with myself, SimFBallCritic, alongside Smitty and AzureEffect in spirit. We always say in spirit, man, because AzureEffect, you know, very busy schedule, man. He's not always able to make it, but even when he's not here, he's here. If we're here, he's here. So there you have it. But yeah, man, a lot to talk about tonight. We don't think it's gonna take that long. Like I kind of preferenced you guys last week. You know, basically how we're gonna probably have to go forward with the Sim Standard Podcast is, you know, we have a 2-hour slot. Beginning from 8 o'clock. You know, if by chance we come on late, you know, life caught up to us, so you know we have to be done by 10, you know, because of my circumstance. But like I said, man, sometimes we will have 2 hours worth of content, sometimes we'll have an hour worth of content. I think we just, you know, give ourselves a time in which we could come to you guys and speak on whatever is relevant. But enough of me yapping, man. What we're going to basically talk about tonight, you guys see it already in the title. We definitely want to discuss the most recent stream from EA Sports, man. If you guys haven't seen it, go to Twitch, look up EA Sports or EA Madden NFL. I'm not sure exactly how it's classified. I think it's just EA Sports. Go to the Madden page, take a look. They talked about the superstar abilities and the X Factor abilities and things like that. And they're calling it the part 1 of gameplay, and I see why they did that, Smitty, is because they definitely spilled a little bit of tea, you know, some teasers, if you will, about gameplay. And for you guys who, you know, don't prefer to do that, I'm gonna put the link right here in the chat. I'll continue to do that. There's an article posted at EA Sports in regards to the X Factors and all of that, and there's a lot of nuggets in this article that is alluding to things to come as far as I assume they will go into more detail on the gameplay blog. I mean the gameplay stream that they're going to do on the 23rd, but it basically matches some of the stuff that Clint and others teased tonight on the stream. So there you have it. But without further ado, man, Smitty and I will just give our quick introductions in terms of anything we want to talk about before we get to the Madden stuff. We'll probably talk about the playoffs a little bit as my Sixers are playing right now, and we're probably going to stay right at home tonight. It's probably going to be over tonight. I'm just going to say that. I hope not, but it is what it is. But anyway, Smitty, man. Oh, real quick, man, before we continue. Kendall. Yeah, man, round of applause to Kendall. Let me get the round of applause up. There it is. Round of applause to Kendall McClendon, man. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate that very much. But Smitty, man, how was your week? Anything you want to hit before we dive into the Madden news here?
I mean, yo, I'll say that, you know, had a great vacation, you know, with the family. We're out of town. We're in Orlando for 8 days. You know, enjoyed the weather. It was a little bit depressing coming back because even though today and yesterday was basically in the 70s, it's about to be mad cold for like the next 4 days. It's gonna be in the 50s. So I mean, it was amazing. You know, I had a great time, celebrated our birthdays and everything, my wife and I, and took the daughter to we went to a few parks and all that, and you know, met up with a fellow brother of ours, Shakedown. You know, I kicked it with him and his family for a little bit. We met up while we were down there, so shout out to our good brother Shakedown, 2012. But all in all, I mean, yo, man, I mean, I'm ready to dive into this thing, man. This was unexpected. I did not expect this detail. And then before the show, like Sim said, he's telling me about some article with details, and I'm looking on the Twitter handle like, where's this article at? And he point this out, and I'm just looking at it on the fly. So when we dive into this thing, we literally gonna be at least I will be. This will be completely fresh for me because I didn't even see this yet. So I can't wait, man. I want to get into this. I'm getting a little bit excited about this stuff, though. But I love this stuff because for how many years, I don't know, we've been talking about abilities and stuff and traits mattering, helping to make players stand out. We give all the props when we see it in NBA 2K, but now it's like finally, Madden is getting on board with the times, and they're finally starting to take that approach. So what Clint said was nice. I liked the way he was talking about, and I like how things are broken down, but we're going to get into it in a moment.
Yeah, man. A lot to talk about. Like Smitty said, man, we're doing some of this here on the fly. I didn't really read the article in depth because, again, it's like my dad always told me, never assume. I assumed that it was just basically going to recap what was, said in the stream. I did watch the stream, but, shout outs to Farls. Z Farls did say, hey, there's going to be, there's a few little nuggets in there, a few pieces of information that they're throwing out at you down at the bottom of the article. Make sure you check it out. And lo and behold, when I look down at the bottom of the article, there's quite a bit of things in there, man, that they kind of teased in the stream. And what I like about that, and we'll get a little deeper into the tease part later, man, but I want everybody to keep in mind that this is not the gameplay stream. They kept emphasizing that, but obviously they had to speak on gameplay to some degree when they broke down these abilities. And there were some teasers in there. And if you go look at the article right now, it is in the chat if you want to scroll up. I also put it in the description, and I'll be posting it again later before we get out of here. But the first thing I wanted to talk about, Smitty, man, I want to comment on what you said too, because I was definitely going to allude to that tonight, and I'll probably allude to this more, as we get more viewers in. The thing that cracks me up a little bit, I'm going to borrow something that Smitty said in one of the streams he did while he was on vacation, and that, Smitty was on vacation and still was thinking about the community. Gotta love it. Oh, and by the way, man, real quick, Smooth, we did see your donation. Let's throw the round of applause up really quick.
Yeah. Big ups to you, Smooth, on that one. Always appreciate you, fam.
Definitely appreciate that, man. Now, Smitty said something in his stream where he said EA, and particularly those who are in charge of Madden, has earned the reputation of not having the trust of the people, or the reputation of not putting your best foot forward. Whoa! Holy moly! Neff! Round of applause to Neff.
Big brother almighty. Up here with the $30 donation. Oh, man. Appreciate the love out here tonight.
Round of applause to Neff doing it big. And which reminds me, Smitty, I know we got the previous donations and all that straight, but I got to go back now and look at what month are we in? May. I got to go get a look at April so I could, divvy that up. And we'll do the same. We'll keep it monthly, so that way we don't lose track and all that stuff. And we know for sure it's the exact amounts. And again, guys, what I meant to say this before, so let me say it now. I'll discuss it with Smitty, but I meant to say it before. If you guys want to make it easier, if it's easier for you to donate to either one of us, so it's easier for us to receive it. I have a PayPal. Smitty has a PayPal. I have a Cash App. I don't know if Smitty has a Cash App. I've thrown this method out there as well when I do the Steeler stuff. If y'all want to continue to do it here, is great. But just trying to find an easier way that it can be distributed, where this amount could go to Smitty, this amount can go to me, and it's not him having to wait for me to, go back and calculate and all of that. But that's just a side note. But anyway, we appreciate it regardless, and I'll make sure Smitty gets his just due on that side. Because obviously, we're streaming on my channel, so you guys understand how that works. But we'll take care of that. But, guys, this is what confuses me a bit. Going off of the point that Smitty said, yes, they have earned this reputation. And we all should be looking at it with an eyebrow raise or taking things with a grain of salt, assuming lip service, until we're able to see things put in motion. Well, that part of what I just said is what we always should be thinking about. What about when they put things in motion? How are we to act if they actually start doing some things? How are we to act with if they actually start getting it right? Now, again, none of us have played this. And the funny thing about it is Smitty and I haven't been to EA this year at all. Like, all of this stuff is new to us. And I'll throw another nugget out there. Not a nugget, but a question to you guys. And this is a question for you too, Smitty. And you can answer it when I throw it to you. It makes me think that video footage that was, you know, reported like a month or so ago, it makes me think that leak happened on purpose. I don't know if it did, but all of the stuff that was leaked out there is actually what is in the game. And I'll give you this piece of information, guys. I inquired with someone who worked at EA, and I said, hey, man, I'm seeing this information out here floating around. And shout outs, you know, to guys like Eric Rayweather, you know, SGO for, you know, keeping us updated with doing their, you know, their update videos where they basically said, hey, this is some information we're hearing. You know, SGO and them even went as far as saying, I've got this from a reliable source. And come to find out, everything that was talked about in that information is what's being revealed. That don't happen. Now, let me explain to y'all what I mean. It doesn't happen on that level where the company is not reacting, where the company wouldn't be more proactive in getting stuff shut down and, you know, trying to get people to take stuff down. I didn't see any of that. Mind you, Rayweather, he's a game changer. SGO, last time I checked, game changer. So I'm just saying, again, I'm not saying that they were given the information to leak. They were basically making videos off of the leak. But nobody had a problem with it. Nobody internally told them take the video down.
That's true.
So I'm just like, okay, all right. I'm just saying. That's kind of curious as to how it played out like that. But anyway, let me get back to my point, man. They have earned the reputation of us not trusting them. Yes, but what if we always said? What if me and Smitty always said why we keep giving feedback, why we continue to do this? What if one day they decide to change culture, change their, you know, the way they want to do things, they really start focusing on the game? And Smitty hit it right on the head. How long have we talked about players, you know, differentiate one player from another? How long have we talked about that? Players feeling like themselves, players being different, adding these skills and these elite abilities for elite players in franchise, not just MUT. How long have we talked about that? How long have we talked about some sense of signature animation or play style and throw style, and to see that they're focusing on those things? Again, we don't know how the execution is going to be. I'm not ready to judge that right now, because obviously when I can play the game myself, I'm hoping there's going to be a beta. And as early as the beta, you know, if we're still a part of that, which I assume we would be, then I will be making my assessment on, okay, I like how they did this, I don't like how they did that, this isn't working the way I thought, this is going to be overpowered. You know, then I can go through all of that. But I'm just not going to... Yeah, go ahead, Smith.
And, you know, I was just going to say, they already did a closed beta.
Oh.
So there was, because I saw on Twitter, 4Verts podcast guys were talking about it, and he had the link there, and I just looked it up, and it's basically you couldn't access it unless you had the exclusive access. Like, as soon as you put in the link to get to the page to try and access it, it'll automatically shut you down if you don't have access. It'll just say you don't have access to this or whatever. But they did a closed beta.
Interesting.
Already.
And we was not a part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I wonder now. Well, we can go down that rabbit hole later. But I was just gonna say, I wonder who was, because just think about the conversations we have offline with other people in the program.
Right.
Didn't appear that those people in there were a part of this either.
Nope.
So that's why I'm saying it makes me wonder. Now, granted, I'm not the type of guy. I don't never feel like I'm supposed to have something or supposed to be a part. If I wasn't a part of it, whatever. But it makes me wonder if it was closed like that, and we've always been a part of the traditional beta that was only, closed off to, some of the people in the program and some other people here and there, then it makes me think, okay, well, I wonder who was a part of that beta then. Like, what made them change that up? I don't know. But regardless of the fact, we have not seen this game in action. But I'm sorry, man. You can call me whatever you want. Cause Twitter is so funny, and I love just reading stuff now, and I don't even reply. But y'all, you can say whatever you want to say about me and what you think I do for EA and blah blah blah. You can't deny this stuff that they are advertising to be in this game. To sit around and say that they're not doing nothing, I've already heard this. I'm like, dog, I don't know. Again, I try to take my personal feelings out of game development. There's things that I want them to do, and I already know going into Madden 20, I'm pretty sure there's things in there that I wanted that they didn't get to. But I'm not going to ignore the stuff that is being done. I mean, it's a lot here, Smitty. I took notes, man. I'll just rattle off some of these things that I took notes about and then throw it to Smitty, and then we could actually just read from the article and dive a little deeper, because there's things in the article that they didn't necessarily talk about on stream.
Oh, and one thing I want to say real quick, because I've been reading while Sim's been talking. Just a little side note for people that were talking online and saying that they basically determined how the whole game was going to be based off of that franchise video. It says right here, stay tuned for the franchise deep dive blog soon that'll go more in depth. Sim and I will get to it where it states that. But for those of y'all that thought that y'all saw everything that there was going to be, there's a deep dive coming. a second one talking about franchise stuff. See, this is what I'm saying. And like what Sim's saying, some people, I understand, we get the vitriol. We get the anger, the angst, all of that. But at the same time, we can't sit up here and act like we played the game already. You haven't played it. You don't even know how to stuff. You can't look at some screenshots and stills and be like, oh, I know what it is already. Oh, it was underwhelming. If you listen to what those guys said last week, they said that there's going to be another stream. Like, they let you know directly there's going to be more. It wasn't subliminal. So it's like, if there's more to come, then wait till you actually see what else there is to come, and then go from there, man. See what the game actually has. And like what Sim's saying, this stuff, reading this blog and the stream they did, this is undeniable stuff. This is undeniable stuff. Now, we have to see, of course, we all know it. We got to see how it comes together. But this is undeniable details here. This is stuff we've said for the longest time. When it wasn't in Madden and we talked about this stuff, yeah, man, they need to do it. They need to do it. Now they doing it and we want to act like it ain't there or it ain't going to work. Like, no, man, let's see what this stuff actually is going to be about. There's nothing wrong with being happy about this. I know some people think you got to scold everything that says EA on it, but there's nothing wrong with being a little bit happy about what is happening here. Because like Sim said, this is why people called us sellouts and all that stuff. Because when we gave EA any props, remember when we saw the Infinity Engine at first and all that stuff, and we got happy off of that, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, look what they're doing. It's like when we showcase any kind of elation toward Madden at all about stuff that we've been going on and on about for years, it's like we're just supposed to stay mad. And that's it. Like, no, if they're doing something right and it's making sense, I'm happy, because I'm like, okay, now I feel a little bit better, feel a little bit more confident. Now I got to see how this stuff comes together, which we're going to find out in 2 weeks. See, now I'm even in more anticipation for the 23rd. because of what's been said today. And I wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting them to just run over these abilities real quick, and that's it. No, nothing more, nothing less. I wasn't, the QB animations were a little bonus, but then reading this blog so far, this is really good stuff that is necessary in the game. And I for one, I know all of us are truly looking forward and got that date basically circled to see how is this stuff going to translate in terms of a visual representation.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to take note of, man. And again, let me say this. Let me say this before I continue, because I do think sometimes I find myself falling back into the same conversations, and I don't want to keep doing that. I mean, it's easy to get pulled into them. But I want to say this, and I want to be as clear as possible. I do not care how you feel about Madden. Let me say that again. I don't care. You don't have to tell me what you hate about Madden. I don't care. I don't care if you hate it or love it. That's not my purpose here. That's not even the purpose of a community leader, in my opinion. Of course, you can share your opinion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those of you that feel like you have to tag me in every single disdain that you have about Madden. Why do you think I care? I don't, and I'm talking, and guys, I'm getting tagged and the devs are not. This is what I'm saying. Why are you telling me? I'm not talking about opinion. And again, even tonight, some of you guys gonna like what was shown, some of you guys are not. I don't care. I'm gonna sit here and tell you how I feel, and how you feel about how I feel means nothing to me, because it is my opinion. Simple. Again, like I said, I just needed to address that, man, because this conversation comes up so much, because people often will say, oh man, y'all say the same thing. Dog, I'm really done with all of that. I'm really done with, I don't care. I don't need y'all to, I don't care about any of that. Whether you like Madden or you hate Madden means nada to me. I wish we all could get on that page. Just share your thoughts. That's it. Share your thoughts, but don't stop personalizing things and towards certain people, because it ain't just me. I see y'all do that to other people in the community, even the ones y'all don't like. You know what I mean? I'm just on some change the world stuff right now, man. It's a lot of behaviors within men I'm just not feeling no more. So that if any of you guys are wondering where I'm coming from, this ain't really got nothing to do with Madden and video games. This is more of just a person, just as a people. It's lame. This stuff is lame, and I wish we could just stop doing that, because it is lame. Who cares? It ain't that important. It's a video game. But anyway, let me move on, man. Listen, I'm gonna say it early. I like what I'm hearing. If they deliver on this stuff, bruh, this is what I've been asking for. There's a ton of stuff that I've been asking for I know ain't gonna be there. I'm getting a little nervous about the core features of franchise. And like Smitty said, I'm not jumping to conclusions because I don't know it all yet. But when I mean core features, I'm talking about those things that we mentioned last week. Your roster management stuff, your free agency stuff, your scouting, those type of things. Re-signing, morale, chemistry, wear and tear, those things. And I'm getting the sense that I don't know if any of that was addressed or touched. So I'm kind of preparing myself for it not to be. And I'm trying to, tell myself, how do you feel about what they're doing in franchise in general? So that's the same way I'm looking at this gameplay. It's the same way. But let me read some of these things, Smitty, and then we can dive into the article. Here are the notes I took, and these are the things I want us to discuss real quick. Players can be knocked out of their zone. That's very important. Because I was a little scared. I thought it was going to be you're activated. He's heating up. I was fearing that. I ain't going to lie to y'all. I was fearing that. Like, yo, How is these zones going to be? The main thing that Clint said, I took a note of it. Where is it? Let me read my own writing here. All abilities can be countered. Love it. Because think about it, guys. Let's be honest for a second. Let's take Madden's personality in terms of how they've dealt with us over the last few years. Let's take what we know about them off the table and look at this rationally. How else can they produce these key moments, clutch player, signature ability, signature skill? Like, how else could they replicate it in a way that we would believe it? Like, let's be honest for a second. Is there ever going to be a time that you feel like, oh, that was perfect, they nailed it? I don't think there is, because even in video games in general, I remember the story I told Smitty a year or so ago. I was playing 2K. I think I was playing my team, right? Played this guy online. The dude hit like 40 3-pointers with James Harden. Ridiculous. And after I was pissed off and all of that, at the end of the day, I was like, but what's the comfortable number? And again, 40 3-pointers or whatever is ridiculous. So don't really focus on the number that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the principle. If he had hit 9, would I have been still pissed off? Let's say he took 9 shots and he hit 9 of them. Theoretically, as a video gamer, you'd probably still be pissed off. But a dude like Harden could do that. So what I'm saying is, where's the balance? So where's the balance that we would be comfortable in Madden to say, oh, okay. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I see people shooting it down already, Smitty, and I'm like, think about it. How else can they produce that other than making everything counter or making everything performance driven? Because that's how it happens in the NFL.
Yeah, that's how it works.
When we watch football, plenty of times we like, yo, he in the zone. That dude is in the zone. Sometimes it's the amount of carries the dude got, or, you know, they just in the zone. We've seen Patrick Mahomes in the zone. So my thing is, I think the design of it sounds cool. We'll have to see how they balance it. But it sounds like it's performance driven. And then opposite of that, the defense can perform and knock you out of it. Great. Overhauled pass pressure and pass rush. Updates to QB contain. Zone abilities are earned. Superstar abilities can always, apply, but you have to earn the zone ability during game or during season, I heard Clint say. Because he says something about if you don't get it this time or if you're knocked out of it, you can get it back during the game or in the next game. Here's another key thing. He says something about the playbooks will matter according to your personnel. And I think maybe Farrell said that, but one of them was saying, like, let's say you got a Lamar Jackson and you want to run the offense a certain way where you have to scheme it the right way in order for you to be successful. That I need to get more clarity on, Smitty. I want to know, what exactly does that mean? Are you telling me now that the playbook will match the scheme? Because they also said that the teams will feel like themselves. Again, this is all talk. Guys, we don't know. Right. But we have to go off of what they're saying. That's all we got right now. Let's say all of this fails, then we can talk about it then. But I'm just not in the boat of, well, we know what they're gonna do. I'm not gonna do that because I like to wait for things to happen. And I deal with anything like that. This ain't just Madden. Anything. I deal with anything in life like that. I'll give you a fair shot until you show me that I shouldn't have. Let me see what else I got written down here. Some abilities are based off of position. Particularly, they talked about the slot receiver. There was a slot machine, I think they called it, and they said, then this guy will only be successful, because I think they talked about Edelman. He'll only be successful with that ability while in the slot. So if he's lined up on the outside, it ain't going to work. That sounds more like sticking to the authenticity. If the dude is a B slot and he got this great ability and you try to play him on the outside, you lose that. Love it. You know what that sounds like to me? The Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I like Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot. Thank you very much. I don't want him at the X. He can play the Z, but he can play the Z when Antonio Brown is the X. Juju gets off the most as a slot. That's where he terrorizes the league. Hate to say this, Smitty, but Smitty remembers when we played the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Where was he at? In the slot.
Yeah, yep.
And he got the matchup that y'all didn't want. You get away from Slade. I'm just saying, that to me is more authentic than being able to carry that same ability that's specific to that lineup or position if you're playing in a different position. I like that. I hope they're doing that with all of the abilities. What else we got here that I wrote down? This is one that we need to pay close attention to as well, because I want to know if they're pulling our leg or if they're being truthful about this. They reworked the hit stick where we'll create more misses based off of weight and momentum and ratings. But they said weight and momentum. Y'all know Smitty and I are going to be all over top of them about that. Let's see. Because you've said that before, and the words that Clint told us in the past was, well, we're not quite where we want to be. It's a little bit of the factor. That was 2 years ago. This would be the third year of, quote unquote, having weight and momentum be a part of your equation. I would expect it to be at a better point now. So I'm going to be keeping paying close, real close attention to that. Pat Mahomes is the only one that will have the no-look ability. So many people were so upset last week. Oh, man, it's going to be a cheese fest. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand the reputation. I understand why some people might have jumped to conclusions, but I didn't, because I said, oh, obviously they're doing that for Pat Mahomes. I wouldn't expect them to give it to anybody else. Who else has done it? We ain't never seen nobody else do that. Now, you know what that reminds me of, Smitty? It sounds like they may have learned their lesson in regards to the David Tyree catch. That's how that should have been. And not saying that nobody else could do it, but remember when they introduced that, everybody can do it. When they introduced Odell's catch, all the receivers can do it. Now it sounds like, let me say that one more time so y'all don't twist the words. It sounds like now only certain players can pull off certain things. And if Pat Mahomes is the only one that can do it, phenomenal. Great. I'm cool. They talked up, and I'm almost done, Smitty, then I'll throw it to you. Right, we can dive into this article. One more thing I got here. Well, two things. Clint said exactly what I needed to hear him say in terms of abilities. He said the idea behind this was to create separation between players and allow superstar players to stand out and to allow more authenticity in terms of how these players play on Sunday. Bravo, Clint. Because that was exactly what we discussed, again, 2 years or so ago when Rex was there. This stuff, okay, let me say this, Smitty. Then we're going to come to you. Well, let me say this. Animation quality, they said they've reworked it to where we know now there's signature animation on some players. I want to know how far that goes. And I want to know in general what the animation quality across the board is. Are we talking player movement, RPM, all of that? So it's still more to see there. The animations that they did show us with the quarterbacks looked cool. Me and Smitty have seen animation on that kind of ghost grid before while in studio. I haven't seen it look as clean as some of that did. That makes me feel like maybe overall the game's animation is better. I don't know. I'm only speaking off of, what we know from the past. Right. And the last thing I will say, here's the reason why me and Smitty sometimes sang a different tune than other people. All of this stuff that they talking about, we had these conversations 2 to 3 years ago. So Smitty and I might be a little more optimistic and excited because we knew this stuff was coming. Part of the reason why me and Smitty have been so pissed off for the last couple years is there are things in the pike that we know they are capable of doing. They just haven't implemented it yet. This is one of them. Newsflash, and I hope I'm not getting in trouble here because it's old news and now we know it's here. Me and Rex and Smitty, and we had a conversation about player likeness at least 2 years ago. At least 2. I want to say 3 because I want to say some of that was entertained for Madden 17. I could be wrong.
No, that was nearly wait. No, that was nearly 4 years ago.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Yeah.
This stuff been on the table for so long, and that's why every year when the game comes out, we're a little more pissed off because we know it'll be like you going into your job, right? And they got this whiteboard full of stuff, and then the next year you come in and you see, dang, they didn't get down to number 10 yet. The next year again, dang, they still ain't get down to 10. Year 3 comes, oh man, finally. I've been waiting for that one. That's kind of how our journey has been with EA. It's a lot of stuff, and boy, I can tell you it's even more out there still on that board that I ain't heard yet. But just so people are not confused, for those people who, you know, y'all might be new to us, and you know, sometimes you read into the nonsense that people say about people and their opinions, and if we sound a little different, this is the reason why. Is because we have inside information. We know the things they want to do, and it excites us to see that they're actually going after it. Because remember, those with the suits are controlling this situation. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think all of this stuff would be happening for no Madden 20.
Oh no!
based off of their history with the suits, and I'm gonna keep it in the tuck, but let me just say this. Somebody told me some months ago that, hey man, things are changing in the building. I was like, yeah, all right. That's kind of how I approached it. Yeah, okay. And again, guys, y'all know I don't do anything for no reason. I kept saying, Madden 20 gonna tell me everything I need to know. Now y'all, there's your answer. That's why I was saying that, because I had been told, nah, the culture's changing. You'll see. And I was like, yeah, okay. And to me, Madden 20 and the idea of what they're trying to do with it would tell me exactly what I needed to know. So there you have it. Cat is out the bag. That's why I was saying all of that. And I meant it. If I didn't see any fundamental shifts, I was like, I don't believe nothing. Same old EA, Tiburon. I don't know if I can say that now. Just off of implementation. Now, again, we got to see it work. But let's be honest, man. I don't think none of us thought any of this stuff would be coming in Madden 20. I didn't. Thought it would be pretty much similar to Madden 19 with a few sprinkles. But that's all I wanted to say, man. I know I was a little long-winded there. We'll dive into the article, but I want to make that very known, man. Like, if you ever wonder why Smitty and I sound a certain way, or we are a little happier than others, or a little more upset than others, it's because in our minds we're working off of a whiteboard that we know exists. You know, not figuratively, you know, it's figuratively, not literally, but there's a whiteboard of stuff and knowledge that me and Smitty have crammed in our brains that we know that devs, keyword devs, want to bring to this game. So the more that stuff we see coming, we like, oh, Smitty, I ain't think they was gonna do that. They finally doing it. So again, comes down to how it works. That's gonna be the biggest component. This all could be broken. Who knows? We shall see.
Yep.
But what you want to hit off of, man? Because there's even some more stuff I see in this article that, whoa, I didn't even see this the first time I read it. Couple things here.
I mean, we already talked about the X Factor stuff was already talked about. Let me see. Oh, and one other note thing that to add on top of, like you touched on the passing, the quarterbacking, the animations, like they talked about Pat Mahomes and everything, his abilities. everything is tied to a standard pass. It's not tied to high pointing. So when he talks about throwing the ball cross body, they're making it relative to what he does in real life. He's not up here throwing 30, 40-yard bombs, no look. You know what I'm saying? Like throwing high points and low points. He's throwing a moderate pass just from a look-off basis. So that's a big deal right there, because that was stated multiple times for some of the different abilities there for the QB. It was like, the exception goes, to high and low point passes. So I think that's something to bear in mind too, to help cut, potential cheese methods. You know what I mean? So in that way, like what Sim was saying earlier, it's not like an NBA Jam, he's on fire kind of moment where it's like he's just playing completely abnormal. Yeah, like,
he's on fire.
Like he ain't playing abnormal, and he's just able to do it no matter what. Like,
and there goes your TV, goes the controller you throwing it right through that TV. He's on fire and you're on fire. Oh my God.
But yeah, that's really good to see. So there's levels of balancing and functionality to how all this stuff is going to come together and how it's all going to work. So that's good to hear. They already talked about the let me see here. One thing, hold on, just going through the article. Okay. So when they're talking about the passing animation, Sim, I want to touch on this here. I know we already saw what was in the stream, what they had there, right? You saw some animations, and they talked about how Aaron Rodgers has the fastest release in the game. Now, the cool part about this is, just reading it here, it says from the start to the end of the passing animations for all QBs will scale down from fastest passers based on their real-world performance. Short passes will always be faster than deep passes for all QBs, but deep passes for the elite players are still significantly faster than deep passes by lower-rated players. So, like, let's just say, I mean, I doubt that they'll have him in Ultimate Team, but let's say if they have Tim Tebow in there, and he has, as we all know, he has a very slow release. So it would be sweet to see his release in the game. I mean, it's not going to be true to form, but he'll at least have a delivery method that will be a lot slower than normal in comparison to your elite quarterbacks. So that's pretty cool. I like that little bit right there. And this is the other part. Now, see, I got to see this in action. I have to see this because I've seen, I don't know how many APF videos, saying in 2K5 videos and old Madden joints about this. They're talking about when it comes to the pass animations, they tune the speed and trajectory to get more air under the ball for all throw types. Now, I said, important note, to get higher trajectory, the velocity of the pass had to decrease. So this is a more authentic approach to passing in order to get the ball over lurking linebackers and allow you to fit the ball in between zones at high frequency. So, and then they go ahead and talk about the speed, like 99 throw power equates to 55 mile per hour bullet passes, which is down from 62 miles per hour that was in Madden 16. What was it that, hold on, let me see here. Which part of it? Dang it, I can't, where is it at? Okay, that's the brush. That's pressure. Oh yeah.
Ooh,
and this one other thing. Before this is the big part right here about the limits placed on lurking linebackers. I liked it because I'm reading this too. Okay, so they're basically saying only D-backs will be able to go for those athletic, SWAT/INT attempts. Linebackers and D linemen will not be able to make acrobatic catches over the middle. Even if you user the person, they'll try to go for the INT. If you have a D lineman or a linebacker, they'll trigger a catch animation, but it won't reach the ball. But there are select, quote-unquote, ball-in-air linebackers that are equipped with that ability, so they'll be able to get up and make those catches. Love it. Because not everybody is able to do all that stuff, whereas in the past, everybody could do everything. No, they're taking that away. Thank goodness. Okay, and there's some kind of regulation. See, we need to see this freaking machine run because of stuff like that. That's huge to me. But I'll throw it to you, Sim, because I mean, the quarterbacking thing, that's a big deal with the trajectories, along with throwing motions. But then also the linebacking limits as well. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
That is very big.
That's gonna change the way some people play in our league. For you guys who are listening.
Yeah,
that's gonna change the ball game right there.
Yep.
But again, we have to see how this stuff. Because let's give a shout out and a nod to Azure, man. Azure makes a great point. We were all talking in another chat. His biggest concern, and AZ has been spot on with this. Last 2 or 3 years, we haven't been concerned at the game before launch. Maybe with Madden 19 a little bit because we knew some things weren't right. But say 17, 18, well, you can throw 19 in there. We haven't felt. I'll even go back as far as maybe 16. Before the game launches, we feel comfortable about it. When we've been down there playing, especially at EA, comfortable. That year, y'all all know the EA played debacle. Comfortable. Game launches, and by November, we playing a totally different game. So all of that still concerns me. But at the same time, I'll react to that if that happens. But there are a bunch of things, man, that, again, guys, try to follow me here. Because remember, I know things. I've had conversations in the past that aligns with these things that they're implementing. I've had some conversation as to how the plan was to implement some of these things. And I'm going to just say this. I am very, very, very interested in hearing more about what they did with Pass Rush. Because there's some things that I know was on the table 2 years ago that didn't make it. And now I want to know if that thing is back. Because it again, I'm not going too far here. They're telling y'all that Pass Rush has been updated. I'll just say that. It has something to do with that. And I really, really, and y'all are not going to figure it out, so I'm cool. I really hope that this thing and what they were doing around that is what they're doing in Madden 20. Really, really hope that. I have no idea. But I'm just saying, if there were some updates to Pass Rush in the trenches, to me, this would be the perfect time to do what you was going to do, that you had to hold off on. So we'll see. What else we got here, man? This is an interesting one about the pump fake mechanics. I'll read the whole paragraph. It's not that long. You can now double tap a receiver icon to pump fake to a specific receiver, or use this as a throw canceling mechanic if you want to pull the ball down late if you change your mind. A well-timed pump fake will be able to impact defensive players by forcing them to react, especially when equipped with the sleight of hand pump fake ability on players like Big Ben Roethlisberger. Y'all know I'm going to be using that thing. As well as a result, the medium pass mechanic has been returned to the press and release mechanic that was there prior in Madden 16. Smitty, refresh my memory on that, because I can't remember. What was the medium pass back then? Was it just a press and a tap and release, or a whole press and release? Because I guess where I'm confused is, how is the press and release different from right now when you just press and release? Isn't that just a standard pass?
Oh, sorry, I just came back. Now, it's basically, it's a standard pass. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. Because I guess the confusing thing is, why are they pointing out that a medium pass mechanic has returned? Because if that's the standard pass, that's what it is right now. Standard pass is you press the button and let it go. So why are they emphasizing that the medium pass mechanic? Because to me, they're basically talking about where you're losing the double tap. The double tap was the touch pass, how it is now. So I got questions around this, because more questions I need to ask is, so we can no longer double tap? I mean, not double tap, but we can no longer do a touch pass? Or is there a different mechanic to do that? So more still needs to be revealed around that. I have a question on that.
That's the curious part on that's the thing I took away from it too. Like, maybe the mechanics are changed up in terms of how it functions altogether, because and one thing, like he had just commented, I like the pump fake now, because now it's just double tap the route.
Yeah, and it goes to that receiver.
Yeah.
Here's the question though. See, I'm glad they mentioned that. See, Smitty, you reminded me of another question that I want to ask all of you guys. I want to know is, when you pump fake to, let's say, the A receiver, he's all the way on the far right, does the quarterback animation replicate that? Meaning, is the quarterback facing that receiver, and then if I come all the way back to the B side, he turns? And if so, that would be phenomenal. And here's the reason why. That would kind of be what we had. It doesn't work the same, but follow what I'm saying here, guys. It would kind of mimic what you got out of Vision Cone in this regard. You can fake people out if the quarterback's animation is literally replicating where he's throwing. Because not only with CPU, just think about you guys who play in user leagues where you have guys lurking and all they doing is kind of jumping. You know, they're pretty much covering the routes that they think you're going to throw, or they have the ability now to, cover 2 or 3 routes with one guy. Imagine if now the quarterback actually turns that way. And this guy, we all been there. We know guys who use it at linebacker, guys like Kia who are real good with using the safety. That could add another element of being able to fake somebody out. Because in a user game, that would be major. If you can make somebody think, oh, that's where he's going. Especially if you got a #1 receiver. So imagine like now in Madden 20, if I'm playing with Antonio Brown, obviously I'm going to try to feed him the ball the most. And I could be pump faking at him, and you use a cover, and you're trying to jump the route, and I come back somewhere else. Man, see, those questions, they gotta be answered. I need to know how does it animate on the field? Does it actually turn the quarterback's body, and it's a real fake, or is it just, you know what I mean? I need to know, because that could be very interesting. What else we got, man? I want to see what these ball trajectories are going to be about. Immersion and quality polish. They said, heading into Madden 20, we have made a team-wide commitment to drive the core quality of the game with a goal of significantly reducing the number of immersion breakers our fans experience. To back that up, we did something different during our production cycle for 20. Instead of waiting until we hit the alpha to polish the game, we started doing polish during the week. So after every 3 weeks of the production, or in other words, they had a mini alpha all year long. Smitty, touched on that last week. And they said we also took a deep dive into finding places in our game where we could deliver more fun to the user per minute by reducing down the time where the player is just watching rather than playing. Okay, so they're basically streamlining pre-play, post-play, and no-huddle experiences. Okay. Pass rush. Let's talk about that one, Smitty. Pass rush. I'm going to try to read this really, really fast, guys. It's a quick paragraph, but I know y'all don't want to just hear me read. In today's NFL, the pass rush has changed our game. Has changed the game, how the game is being played, and is the direct counter to a deep route and a great quarterback play. We are bringing a more balanced and powerful pass rush to our game globally to limit the amount of time allowed in the pocket. How long have we been asking for that, Smitty? And it will be even more intense when playing against a superstar pass rusher. Oh, so you mean I'm going to feel the pressure from a Khalil Mack? Now I got to worry about that. Okay, you're talking a big game here, EA. Let's see. This is a significant creative change to the balance of the game, and on average, this will force the offense to get the ball out quicker on passing plays without constantly having the time to wait for the second and third passing window to open. This has been a huge pain point for most Madden players. And keep in mind, guys, in this article, they said that they built this game off of 3 main pillars. One of those pillars being, feedback and more polish that was coming directly from the community. So we shall see. But speaking of also, there was one other thing I wanted to say about pass rush, if I could find it. I thought there was something else in there. Where is it? Okay, here it is. It says something about refactor of the under pressure quarterback penalty. Putting pressure on the quarterback would be more impactful in Madden 20, especially based on the rating and superstar ability of the pass rusher and QB. You'll see great pass rushers have a greater impact on the QB passing accuracy when applying pressure. And you'll see QBs who are great at throwing under pressure be more accurate. All of this information will be surfaced to the player via detailed in-game passing feedback text. Interesting, man. I mean, they talk a big game here, Smitty. I hope they come to play. That's all I can say. Oh, here's another interesting one. They removed the different game speeds from the game. And they said it's mainly due to the amount of very specific bugs that was caused to their animation system. That's interesting. But, guys, you can read it for yourself, man. There's a lot of stuff here. It has me looking forward to the 23rd because I want to see and hear more about gameplay as a whole. Because, again, we still need to know all this talk of quality animation. How does that look on the field? How does it play out? Player movement. We all know that EA has a tendency, at least EA Tiburon, they have a tendency to have these choppy movements and kind of robotic movements on these players. Even when they implemented RPM, the transition of these animations still wasn't that crisp. And they actually referenced that here in the article as well, man. They talk about, they said they put a significant amount of work towards improving the transitions into and out of interactions for a more seamless transition while also making mechanics more responsive and user-friendly. So to me, Smitty, that makes me question the trenches. Again, how many times have you guys tried to pass rush and user control it, and you just hit a button and your guy just seems to be stuck in a patty cake, or he continues to spin and you don't feel like there's any control over what you're doing, particularly if you're playing on all Madden. So to me, I'm paying attention to all of the underlining stuff, man, that not everybody's going to catch all that. Now, I'm not saying that, we're some type of deep thinkers. I'm just saying not everybody catches that. I know guys like Dez and And, you know, Kia and guys like that, Neff, those type of guys will catch all of that. You know, Zulus, those guys, they'll catch all of these little intricate things that me and Smitty are talking about, because they're important, man, because that's what we've been talking about. You know, the last few videos that I've even posted about Madden 20 feedback, what have I been saying? Interaction. Player interaction to me is the centerpiece. The way they interact, the way they move is the driving factor of the game. If you could get more dynamic interaction and more seamless interaction, as they're talking about, is that going to reduce the amount of warping? You know, like, is that going to reduce the amount of times that the dice roll will kick in and take over? It's a lot of stuff that still needs to be asked. You know, a lot of questions that I still have that I still need to get answers for. But seeing that these things, they're referencing these things, it's got me a little bit intrigued. You know, one thing I didn't like, Smitty, and then I throw it back to you, and I know you can toggle it off. I don't like the fact that they said ball hawk is now defaulted to on all skill levels. And they said the main reason why they said is having it off can lead to a number of frustrating points for our users. So we decided it was not good to have the default to be off. But here's my problem. Number one, I've never liked ball hawk being a user ability, meaning it's something that you could just trigger. I never liked the fact that you could hold down Y or triangle and you just lurking. That is ridiculous, because that causes morphs and warps and all kinds of unnatural things. So question number one, has that been addressed? Have you made ball hawk tighter to where it's still not an unnatural? Because again, what Smitty read about the linebackers and all of that, they're claiming that these guys are not going to be able to make the play. We all know that ain't the case in 19, especially if you got ball hawk on with a linebacker. And then, you know, number two, I felt like ball hawk should be a trait. I've always said it should be a trait for guys who are natural ball hawks. Dudes like Ed Reed should have had that. You know, and even Palomalu at times, but I'll even give the edge to Ed Reed as being a ball hawk. That's how that should have been implemented. And I would have hoped that, and I know it's a lot of code and stuff they would have had to change, but it would have been great if they would have, this would have been the perfect time to cut off the ball hawk user controlled ability and you make ball hawk a trait, one of the superstar abilities or one of the X factor abilities or the zone ability. That's just my beef right there. But I mean, again, you can cut it off, but the biggest issue, man, is right now, at least in 19, you can't police it. You know, and unfortunately, you know, even though it's 32 grown men, we can't always get everybody to just be legit. We always constantly catching people with ball hawk on or the tackle cone on, because we cut all helpers off in our league. We play on all Madden with no helpers. But for whatever reason, some people just cannot play by the rules. So I wish there was a way that we could globally control that as a commissioner. So that's my biggest beef with ball hawk, man. But whatever, I'll get off my soapbox. Anything else, man, that caught your eye, Smitty, with the article, or just, you know, anything from the stream?
I basically ran over everything, you know, in this here, like, and now it's all about looking at the 23rd. All destination arrows are pointed to that. I mean, what they put out was nice, and I mean, they're gonna put out. I think they're gonna put out some more information tomorrow. I think they said after they do their stream. Yeah, EA. So their gridiron. Yeah, so. You know, maybe we'll see some nuggets in there, another, you know, nugget or two in there, or just as a general recap on some things maybe have been missed. But no, I mean, what they did, shoot, I'm very interested to see how this game is going to play out. Mainly, I really need to see that quarterback area, also with these other facets, you know, the pass rush and such. But I also need to. Look, who needs to be there? I would love to see 23rd. I would love to see Clint, which I know he'll be there. I would also love to see Scant get on the mic
and A-Dub
and really let it be known. Yeah, him and A-Dub, man, because like what Clint talking about, all these counters and everything. We got to see how it runs, and we need the coach to come through and really let us know what we are expecting, what we're in for, how the defense is going to play, how's it going to work. So that's all I got though, man.
Because them playbooks, that's all A-Dub right there.
Yep.
Because I'm interested too, and seeing how the RPO and all that stuff is going to work. Because from what I'm hearing, it's tied to playbooks, and honestly, I like that because then people you won't be able to cheese it, and I hope it's even better to where I think they were alluding to this. I don't know for sure, but when either Farles or Clint said it, but when they were talking about how you're going to have to make sure the scheme or whatever you're running matches what your quarterback can do. If that's the case, man, if they got it to where certain guys won't be able to effectively pull off RPOs or whatever, then now we're talking. Because even though this stuff sounds good, me and Smitty could go through a list of probably 200 things that you could add on top of this stuff. I mean, we don't know this to be true, because we don't know the full extent of franchise, but I feel like scheme is supposed to be tied to the coach and or coordinators. And I mean that stuff should be like Baltimore Ravens. I know Dez is in here. I'll give a nod to them. Last year, they went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson. And when Lamar Jackson was playing, everybody in the world knew what they was doing. This is all we can do. Lamar can't do what we was running earlier in the year. All we could do is implement this read option. We'll throw a little play action in there from time to time. But most of the time, we're going to let Lamar make it, either keep it or hand it off on first down. Let's get a quick 5 yards. They was getting 5 to 6 yards to pop up the middle. Then they hit you with a little play action. Very similar to how RG3's rookie year went. And they made that change, and it was like, if you would have lined Lamar Jackson up in shotgun or had him run the same offense that Joe was running, wouldn't have been successful. I need to see that translate in this game. I need to see that. And like, to me, that's what I would have did. I would have made schemes and coaching and players so intertwined that, but maybe that's down the road. Because, again, now we talk about the stuff, my league type stuff. And maybe that's down the road, but you got to start somewhere. It's going to take EA still some years. I mean, I say at least 2 to 3 years of this type of progression to keep building up franchise to where we all want it to be. And that's just the reality. I mean, y'all can say the whole it's $1 billion company stuff. Y'all can say that all you want. The reality is, regardless, you only have a certain amount of time. So they should have been, had they been doing this from Madden 17, Madden 20 probably be out of the ballpark, be out of here. But now it seems like they're just now starting to implement some of this stuff. But yeah, man, we won't hold you guys, man. I mean, we really don't have much more to talk about. Everything sounds good. I mean, that's it. Sounds good. We shall see how this stuff plays out. I know we haven't seen them all, but I do like, from what I'm seeing, what the abilities are. They make sense. Everything that we're reading about Patrick Mahomes, if you look at the article, and even like Edelman, it lines up to what they do. So I'm cool with that. Let me see, Smitty, was there anything else that I wanted to touch on? Wanted to make a comment on one of the comments here in the chat here. All right. Somebody said that touch pass didn't work anyway. But and I'm not challenging that. I mean, it worked when it wanted to. Sometimes it would work perfect. Other times it was so floaty and so slow it wouldn't work. But here's the thing. A trend that I see in the Madden community is a lot of times we just want to discard everything instead of fixing it. You know, I think we've become too much of a get rid of something when it doesn't work. What about sticking with it and implementing it better and improving it and getting it where it needs to be? I think target passing could have been great had they delivered it the right way. So I would have preferred to see them come back at it the next year and Madden 19. I would have loved to have seen them say, all right, now we got part 2. It's much better. It's easier to do. Da 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 da. Like I'm not a fan of when they always, you know, oh, this didn't work, let's scrap it. Some stuff are great ideas, and I think they should continue with it. You know, just improve upon it. And I say the same thing about us in the community, man. We'd be too quick to just throw something away, like, oh, it didn't work anyway, forget about it. Like, nah. I mean, we all do want to throw a touch pass. So I hope that the touch pass option to even throw one is not gone. I really hope it's not gone, because I want a real touch pass. So I'm hoping maybe the trajectories, like they're saying in the article, that, you know, based on how you throw it, it's going to have the right amount of, you know, trajectory on it that would have been a touch pass. So maybe that's the replacement. But I definitely don't want to get rid of that option. I just want it to work. So, and real quick, man, we'll end with this. Josh Ring just asked a question. Well, before I answer your question, well, Daryl, the reason why Rex said that is because the way they delivered it was a failure. And I agree with him. That's what I just said. It's a failure. They could have implemented that a better way. Again, we're not the end all be all, but we gave them the idea of how they could have done it. That's something you should have ripped directly from 2K8. That target passing, maximum passing, bruh. The fade patterns that you can throw in 2K8. Now, I will say this too. A lot of people won't say this, but some of them trajectories in 2K8 was a little exaggerated too now. Let's not act like they weren't. Some of them deep balls, come on, man. Some of the passing trajectories were a little crazy in 2K8, but you could throw a real fade from the goal line. And it was beautiful when you executed it. But the last thing, oh, wait. J. Ross says, Clint said touch pass is back on press and release. Yeah, but what does that mean, though? So the conversation that Smitty and I had earlier, what does that mean? Right now, press and release is a standard pass, if I'm not mistaken, right? In Madden 19, if you just press the button, that's supposed to be a standard pass. That's what I would consider press and release. If you hold it, it's a bullet. If you tap it, it's a lob. If you double tap it, it's a touch pass. So my question again is, if they're referencing the touch pass being back to Madden 16's pass and release, what does that mean? Right now, pass and release is the standard pass. So I need a little more clarification on that. Maybe I can get that from Clint offline. Josh Ring, you said, what do I think about the pump fake? Yeah, the pump fake, we covered that a little earlier, but just really quick. We like it. We like the idea of being able to pump, you know, just by tapping the button, not having to do all this extra stuff, and, you know, not having to, you know, have muscle memory to use the right stick and all that jazz, or the left stick. Now you can simply double tap the icon you wanted to go to, and it pumps to that guy. Love the idea there. In addition, I want to see the quarterback animate that. So if I'm looking on the left side at my X receiver, and I pump to him, and then if I go all the way to the right, if I have these guys running both, you know, the X and the Z are running streaks, I want that animation to play out. I want the quarterback to physically turn to the right or physically turn to the left. If that is also a part of it, or at least the head moves, okay, we got something. Because now you're talking about user versus user. That would be dope. So, but all right, man. I ain't really got nothing else, Smitty, man.
Yeah,
let me
that's
see
it.
what these Sixers doing. I know we going home tonight. Well, staying at home. How courteous for the Raptors to go ahead and just whip us while we at home, so them boys can sleep in their own bed. Oh, we up by 11.
Oh wow.
Oh shucks. Don't mean nothing though. By the time I get out the shower and get ready for bed, I'll find out they lost. Cause I ain't got time to really watch it, man. Y'all know my whole Friday routine. I gotta get myself ready to commute tomorrow, so I can't watch it. Oh, Embiid. And one. Okay, Embiid. Alright. Alright. I'm cool with that. Let's push it to a game 7. But anyway, man, anything else, Smitty, man? I know we both gonna deep dive into this article a little more.
Yeah.
But anything else tonight that we didn't cover?
No, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything on.
Interesting thought from Christopher Fields here. He says, I don't think every back should have spin move. I'm gonna spell this out, and if if you're abbreviating, excuse me for being slow. I'm just not picking up on it. But he says DFFMTL is key. I don't know what that means. And he says everybody ain't Barry Sanders. Okay, I get it. The only challenge I would have for that though, I think every running person has the ability to spin. When I played football and when I toted the rock, I was very easily and very quickly taken away from wanting to spin. Because one time I did it, I spun right into the linebacker and I got leveled, right? So in my mind, I was like, I ain't doing that unless I want to. Unless it's a need situation. I'm not just randomly spinning. And then later on, like season or so later, it was the right opportunity and I did it and it worked. So I guess my point is even, from playing experience, that wasn't the go-to, but I could do it. I think everybody, you know what I'm saying? I think anybody in the heat of the moment, and that's another thing, Smitty, that I don't want to say about ball hawk. I don't want to say that every player in the NFL or whatever couldn't attempt a ball hawk. Because you can. It's just not, it's not likely. It's not likely for Javon Hargrave, the Steelers D tackle is not going to do that. But it ain't to say that he can't. I guess what I'm saying is I never liked the ability of ball hawk being something that you can manipulate and just hold it down and it guides you in position. If they just took that part of it out of it, guiding you into position, I would be cool with it. Or if it was an ability, if it was certain players that are known to do it, they would be way more successful than a guy that's not known for, like Smitty read in the article. If they would make it to where, okay, everybody can ball hawk, but if you do it, your attempt at it ain't gonna be the same as this guy, and you fail if you're not in position. That's how it should be. The way it is right now, it ain't. It ain't like that. Anybody can do it, and that sucks. Because dudes be doing it all over the field. But yeah, man, let me get out of here. Excuse me. Oh, okay, Christopher said differential. Okay, that's what he was saying. But yeah, I agree with you though. But yeah, it should have different spins. I think that's what you're saying. I definitely agree with that. The way Madden is right now. Oh my God, y'all all know the jukes just. I be wanting to throw up, man. Even when I pull one off, they all look the same. And even if I could pull the juke off with Ben Roethlisberger. Come on, man. And it looked the same. It might be a little slower, but it's the same. That kind of stuff has to go. Hopefully, with separating these players and stuff, they've toned that too to where some guys just can't do it. Like Tom Brady ain't juking nobody. But he can do it in Madden.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, man. We've closed this show probably 4 times already, but we'll go ahead and close it this time. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. Our encouragement would be just, hey, you know, just give it a look. You know, if it sounds good to you, great. If you still a little one eye open, great. We kind of feel the same way. If you are not impressed or you don't care about any of it, great as well. You know, we're just here to just comment on the news. You know, we're not swaying one way or the other. You know, one thing y'all can count on with us, we have to touch it first. This all sounds lovely until we play. Then I can give my assessment as to how this stuff is actually playing out. So, all right, folks. Y'all have a good one. Have a great weekend. Be safe. God bless. And we catch you guys next week. Well, I guess we'll have a show next week. Maybe not, because I sure we don't want to talk about no Ultimate Team. But if there's news to talk about, we will definitely have a show. If it's a slow news week, you know, maybe we'll pass next week and we'll be back obviously on the 23rd. I'm gonna actually be out of town that week too, but we gonna do the show regardless. I'm gonna actually be in Florida myself. No, not at EA, but me and my wife are going to visit her father and his family. They moved from New York down to Florida, so we're gonna be down there. But we gonna do the show. I will do it from there because gameplay is the one. That is the date for all of us here. May 23rd.
Yep.
That's going to tell us everything we need to know. All right, guys. And like Joe Budden would say on his podcast, we bid you adieu. Catch y'all later. Peace.
All right, peace.